Greetings and welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of Poly Weekly News. What an action-packed week it was last week. We were at Zoomtopia and made a number of really interesting announcements that we're going to talk about at the show. And then right after Zoomtopia, we had an event called HP Imagine and showed off some of the latest HP technology. And I'm going to share some of that with you and give you some links to that. But first of all, let me introduce to you my good friend, our industry expert for years and years, Tony Intrabartolo. Tony, say hi to everybody. Remind people who you are and what you do.
Sure. Hi, Tony Intrabartolo, Senior Solutions Architect for Zoom. I'm thinking of becoming, who's that guest on Johnny Carson, who was always the fill-in guest that got the most times on the show? But yeah, here in Virginia, and always happy to be here.
I think that would be Charles Grodin, right? Is that from my memory?
Yeah, somebody asked me about that when they said I was doing it again. They're like, "Are you the fill-in guest?" I'm like, "I guess, whatever."
Yeah. So the most important question that I want to ask you is, what did we think about Ahsoka? I mean, that's really more important than anything we're talking about. Oh, not really more important.
You and I know we could do a whole nother episode. I got back late last night from my flight from being in Zoomtopia. It's a tradition for me and my 15-year-old to watch it, and of course, I was gone. So I might have let him stay up a little late last night. We watched the episode last night. So
okay. So do you think there's going to be a season 2, or just going to be?
I think it's going to go into the Dave Filoni movie. It's going to be the Dave Filoni movie. That's what I'm putting the movie in. All right, okay, let's stop. Go down a rat hole. Let's not do it.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's true. But people are interested in things like that. All the pop culture, all the Star Wars. If you look behind me, I've where's my finger? I Funko Popped myself. If you can see over my shoulder there. So now I've got that going. Anyway, all right. So Zoomtopia. Which sadly I missed again this year. It's 2 years in a row that I missed it. I will hopefully be back there next year. But give us your highlights about the kind of things that Zoom talked about, from an AI perspective, and then we'll get into what some of the terrific HP and Poly announcements were.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Zoomtopia was huge once again, right? All the major vendors were there. We were heavily focused upon, and you may have noticed, we won the Innovator of the Year award partner for that. We'll get into that a little bit. A lot about AI, right? They're bringing AI into their chat. They're bringing AI, obviously, into the camera technology, really starting to kind of leverage that. There was a whole lot of interest in director AI, which we'll get into later, but it was a great show. Zoom also announced some new capabilities like Zoom Docs. The Hangouts are now live, but it was a big show.
Yeah, definitely. If you weren't paying attention 3 or 4 years ago, it was pretty obvious that Zoom wanted to take on Google and Microsoft in terms of the suite, the platforming, and get a lot of that done. And they just keep developing in the background, more and more, so that most of us use all of them. But some people like to stay on their platform, and they've got some new features added. So let's talk about the HP Poly announcements that came out. One of them I see over your shoulder. It's a little dark, but I do see it. Is the new Surround 85? And it looks. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we announced the Surround 80. What, about a month ago? I think so. And then now we have the Surround 85. And really, the biggest about Surround 85 is it now has this NFC charger that's magnetic, and now you can just take your headset right off and use it. Put it back on your desk and be ready to go for all your calls. A lot of interest in this. Obviously, you can still use USB-C if you need to, if you're traveling, but people really like the idea of having this, in a contact center or even just on your desk to pull it off and have it already charged and always ready.
Now, the visible difference between the 80 and the 85 is that little red coral. Sorry, I got to get the color right. Stripe there and on the charger, and that's how it charges. And it is that just same as the 80. The first Microsoft Open Office certified boomless headset in the market. I still don't think there's any competition in terms of Open Office certified boomless headsets. I think it's still the only one.
So it's funny, Dave. I'm finally retiring. My 80 was the 82s, the predecessor to this. You gave me 6 years ago at a trade show.
Oh, the 8200.
Yeah, I'm finally going to retire those. They've literally been my workhorse. So if you see me on my name, I'm doing the lawn. That's what I'm wearing. So I'm going to finally retire for the 80s.
So that's that. And the NFC charging is actually pretty modern and brand new. It's a new feature. So it's definitely going to be a great, if somebody wants it sitting on their desk and they want to just take it off and put it on, and that's how they want to charge it, it's an awesome device. So I definitely recommend getting over to one of the HP CWCs or Poly PECs and trying them on and taking a look at it and see how it sounds, because they're really great units. And then the other thing we talked about the last time you and I were chatting, and we were in person, I think, in June at Infocom, we were talking about Intelligent Director. We've now introduced an all-in-one Intelligent Director package. You can get it from a single SKU, right?
So a couple big things about Intelligent Director is now officially GA, at least the long room scenario. We were prominently shown there. Matter of fact, Zoom's main demo was all our gear and was our new kit. So now we've come with a Director AI basically SKU. One part number, you get all the cameras, the compute, and the TC10 and the cables, and off you go. And you can start playing with it. So no need to start mixing and matching parts.
And I'm not really sure, but is anybody else making compute powerful enough to do intelligent
Right
director?
now, and this was confirmed last week, we're the only Zoom certified partner that has an entire kit. Everybody else may make this piece, that piece. Yeah, you could go build something. We are the only ones. Here's a part number. We'll give you an entire kit to do Director AI.
An intelligent director, just to be clear about it, so that in case people don't understand what it is, you set up 3 cameras, center room, right room, left room, and then the software and the compute makes the best picture of everybody in the room.
Where the whole concept came from, hoping we can find some B-roll, right? We got so used to in COVID of everybody being in a square and you could see everybody's faces. Then we went to a boardroom where you couldn't do it. You'd have people sitting behind the other people. So now Director AI, you set up 3 cameras, either 2 up high, 1 low, or 2 low, 1 high in the front of the room. And the intelligence and the AI and the ML can do a couple things. One, it's doing what I like to call facial differentiation, not facial identification or recognition, because those are bad words in some places, but it is able to kind of identify what are the different faces in the room, finds the best angle no matter where they are at the table, and sends that, and at the same time make sure it deduplicate. So we've always talked about, even with our G7500, we could hook up 3 E70s and you could put each camera in its own tracking mode, but there's nothing that would stop it from having 2 cameras track somebody. The intelligent director takes care of all that. It has the intelligence to go, this is the best view of this person. That's what I'm going to send. Using our kit, you can actually send up to 6 streams into the call with up to 16 faces. So that's hugely popular when you think about a boardroom scenario. Now, that's really just the first scenario with Director AI. There's more scenarios coming, right? But gives you the idea of what you could do. I mean, I like to look at things like, have a distance head. Lance Ford, a good friend of mine over at Zoom, who I've known forever, he actually has kind of a video of his out there where he shows, what if I'm in a classroom with a bunch of students, right? With a bunch of little tables they're working on. So really, because of the power of AI and the compute and horsepower we have, there's a lot of scenarios and we're getting a lot of feedback of other ideas. But the one we heard the most was the boardroom. How do I fix the boardroom? And this current first GA does that very well.
Okay, and just so that we're not playing word salad, so that we're on the same page, Director AI is our feature. It's how the cameras will pick up the various shots, and most of the poly gear does that all the time anyway. An intelligent director is when you add the Director AI to the Zoom in our bundle, and that's where you get the idea that I've got a shot of Dave, I don't need to have another camera with the shot of Dave, and switch over, you've got a better shot, and all the rest of the cameras really talking to each other.
Is because of what we have with our Director and what they're doing with Intelligent Director, we're now working together with Zoom to kind of do best of both worlds, right? And you'll see that coming in software. There's things we do really well in our cameras that they're not even taking advantage of yet, that they're going to start taking advantage in the near future.
Yeah, this is the first GA version of this. We're going to go a lot further in terms of really making these. And I refer to them, I don't know if it's become an industry term yet, I hope so, but I've been referring to them as camera arrays for a very long time, because that's what it really is. It's the same thing that microphone arrays are doing.
See, if you say camera array to me, I'm immediately thinking T3, IX5000s, or I like just cameras being smarter. You know as well as I do, the big goal in this, and we've had it forever, as long as you've been in it. I want to walk in a room, never think about the cameras, but know that I'm always properly being represented at the far end and not have to think about it.
So, and we have had conversations, not revealing anything. I don't know what's on the drawing board, nothing NDA there, but we have had conversations about walking into that conference room, and that conference room doesn't just have the camera or cameras up front. There are a lot of cameras in that room. There's a camera on my waist on my phone. There are cameras on my notebooks. There are cameras all over the place. There isn't a reason why we can't, at some point in our lives, hope that all those cameras would talk to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you're starting to see the beginning of that. It may be an Apple thing, but it's kind of the beginning where you can have your iPhone act as a camera for your laptop, right? Android's starting to do it as well. But you're 100% right. We have so many cameras in a space, for good or bad. Why don't we better utilize what's already there? Why do we have to specialize so much? And obviously, being HP, we have a whole lot of capabilities in the camera space, laptop space, compute space. So stay tuned. I think we're going to do some amazing things over the next few years.
Any other cool announcements from Zoomtopia from us?
Oh, God, what else? HP released a new keyboard, which is really cool. It's actually like a wireless with a full numbered keypad, and it can do double connections. We released a new Bluetooth mouse. It was actually funny. I was having a discussion with somebody at Poly. We always kind of took pride in the fact that we ran the whole gambit in the Zoom hybrid working environment. Now I was thinking about it, I was like, we really run the whole gambit now. We really do. I mean, you think about it, I could have a hybrid workspace that HP is every single piece of that workspace, from my mouse up to my large camera system to, I need to print something. It's kind of amazing. I was having a discussion with one of our clients. I said, wow, that is really true. You have one-stop shop for your entire hybrid work environment. And I think what we've done that I was finding interesting is with T-Bot, we got to get everybody back to work. I think the way we're looking at it is a little different. Make going to work exciting, and you want to go there, have the right tech, have the right environment, where you finally get to the point where I want to go to the office because the technology is so good and it's so much a better experience. And I think HP is going to be the first to get there.
Yeah, I agree with you. And speaking of which, as soon as Zoomtopia ended, and I won't talk to you about the entertainment concert. I didn't see it. I hope it didn't make any headlines like it did a few years ago.
It did not. I thought there was a possibility of it, but it was actually a great show.
It was ludicrous, right? That's what I had heard. Yeah, okay. Sad that I missed that. But that evening, there was a small party that HP hosted, and the following day was, HP Imagine, which is the first edition of one of our annual events that are always going to take place roughly this time of year, to talk about some of the blockbuster announcements coming from HP and Poly and some of the other real innovation. And the tagline was live better, work happier, and dream bigger. And, I'm not going to do a very good job telling you all the things that we announced at the whole day. It was live in California. There was also a view party in New York for some of the analysts. I'm going to give you a link right over here that links to the keynotes that opened it up in case you want to watch them. And separately, I'm going to give you another link over here to the press release in case you really want to dive down into it. But there was some interesting announcements of things that are available now and things that are coming in the near future. Just to hit some of the highlights, and I'd love to get some of your opinion of them. We've been talking about this for years and years and years. And finally, we at HP are the company making the best headsets in the world and the best PCs in the world. So that, little Bluetooth dongle that you needed for a PC in order to get wideband audio, we're now going to have that part of the PC. You don't need the dongle anymore. Right out of the box, you're going to be able to connect. I'm wearing the Voyager Focus 2. You've got the 85 over there. Imagine being able to use these with high bandwidth audio with no more having to stick a little thing in the USB port.
Or worrying about where it went. I mean, that's my number one thing. Luckily, I mean, even with the 85s, and like our new 85, they have this great case, so I don't have to lose them. But I can't tell you, there's only so many things I can stick in my bag, and it never fails. That one little USB dongle falls in the bottom of your bag, but guess what? We don't have to worry about it anymore.
Now, it'll still come with the dongle.
For those who have not made the right move over HP Compute, we got you covered.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's a wonderful thing because people have been asking for that for years and years and years. So a couple of the other things on the compute side, which, these one was a new announcement, one was just a repeat of a recent announcement, the HP Envy Move. If you haven't seen it, I'll try and get some video of it to show you what it looks like. But it's an all-in-one, battery operated, pick it up with a foldable handle, walk it anywhere in your house and use it. Complete PC, keyboard fits in the back. Really an awesome.
I have to say, when I saw that, I had a little bit of a flashback to the days when you remember when the original iMac came out and there's this giant thing with a handle and they thought that was movable. I said, yeah, apparently they did not know what actual portability was back then. But this thing, you absolutely see I can see you walking around the office with it.
I've seen a couple of analysts actually mention iMac in their coverage of it. So you're not the only person to have come to that conclusion. The other thing, which is really awesome, every analyst that I know, every reporter that I know, every end user that I know has said, you got to get me one of these. Honestly, I haven't gotten one yet. They're very hard to get. But right, the HP Spectre Fold, which it uses a foldable screen, so it's a 3-in-1. It's a standard laptop, but then you can take the screen off. You can use it as a tablet, but then you can turn the screen around and have it be a separate large, 17-inch screen. What an awesome piece of technology.
As well as I do, all of us here at HP, the minute that was announced with the internal ordering system going, can I get one of these now?
Yeah,
the internal ordering system gets to be plenty for stuff for my son because now we have HyperX and
Yeah, there were plenty of HyperX announcements. There was a new announcement around HP managed collaboration services that Dave Scholl made, and the idea of treating collaboration systems, instead of as these one-off things that have existed with managed services in AV for years, now treating them just like any other piece of office equipment, using, the years and years of knowledge and expertise that we have. That's really good. So definitely go to
And it was
those sites
amazing.
that I put up.
Just to that point, I mean, I met with one of our clients who I won't name, one of our larger clients, who are a huge HP managed service for all their printers or laptops. And they were briefed on that. And they said, that's perfect, because now I can get you guys to manage all the tech and I don't have to worry about it. Another huge advantage for us being part of HP is being able to, we can manage all your tech from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm. And there were other announcements. I don't want to, because I'm not mentioning them, not because there's anything wrong with them. We had some awesome printer innovations, 3D printing, some custom footwear.
Let the team take all the credit for those, and and they can definitely speak to it better than we can.
Well, I'm not taking any credit for any of it, but again, here is where you can find the press release if you're interested in it. Definitely go watch the video. And we had some really cool announcements this week. Now we're all kind of taking a breath. We're going to start gearing up for the next big announcements that come out of HP, which is right around CES. You can see over my shoulder. I got to figure out point right, point left, but I'm very honored. Very honored to have been appointed as one of the CES Innovation Award judges again this year. The first time I've done it in 7 years. Not the first time I've done it, but some really cool items coming out. And
I hope you can be unbiased. No, actually, I hope you're biased.
No. I immediately would have to check a box if there was anything that would cause a conflict of interest, and I wasn't in a category of anything that HP makes, so it really wasn't a problem.
Well, what's left? What does an HP make? That's why I want to. Is there like
large screen displays? Large.
Okay, there's one. Okay, I'm literally in my head going, what does an HP make in the tech? I mean,
at least so far this year.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's it. I'm looking forward to being there again in January and having some cool things going on. But we'll have plenty of time to talk between now and then. Tony, I appreciate, as always, you taking the time. If anybody wants to reach out to you, get more information on some of our Zoom products or what you do, how do you suggest they reach out to you?
Yeah, easiest Tony.Intrabartolo at HP.com, or follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn.
No, I'm not Twitter anymore. We're not really happy about where that thing's going.
Or LinkedIn is probably the better place to go now. That's where I posted most of my coverage from Zoomtopia. So
I appreciate that. So Tony, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And thank you very much for joining us every week to find out a little bit more about what we do at Poly and what we do at HP. For all of my colleagues at Poly and HP, I'm David Danto. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.